Thursday, May 2nd. Welcome back to the Damon Bruce Show. It's great to see you again. Thanks for coming on by. Like and subscribe. We're on our way to 20,000 subscribers. Can't get there without you, though. Hitting that subscribe button, hit the notify button, and you'll know whenever I go live. It is wonderful to have you here today. Kind of a slow news day once again, but a few things that I think are pretty interesting that we're going to get right into here right off the bat. Just like the thumbnail says, the NFL, it really is not for long, and that even applies to young, up-and-coming quarterbacks who deserve second and third chances in some instances. But boy, this league, it moves quickly, and if you don't move quickly with it, you get left behind. That's just the way it goes. When the San Francisco 49ers drafted Trey Lance back in 2001, looking at all the assets that they moved to come up and get him, that must have been one of the most exciting moments of his entire life. That had to have been so professionally satisfying to see your name third pick in the NFL draft, third quarterback selected, and the 49ers went way out of their way to come get you. And boy, are you going to be in good hands. Are you in a good situation? And I'm honestly wondering if Trey Lance has had a happy day in football since that day came and went, because everything since then for Trey has just been a massive uphill battle. An uphill battle against the playing time he didn't get in college, an uphill battle against the playing time he didn't receive, buried behind Jimmy Garoppolo, playing time that he was then given, then taken away from him with a broken ankle, and then all of a sudden here comes Brock Purdy, and Trey Lance isn't needed around here no mo. So off to Dallas he goes. And, you know, a lot of people thought, hey, Trey Lance, he's going to be in a better situation. Well, when I say a lot of people, what I meant were Trey Lance fans who were just rooting for him to be a good quarterback more than they were paying attention to the reality of what was actually happening. To say that he would be in a better situation in Dallas was just another way of saying you didn't like Kyle Shanahan and you think he screwed it all up. Well, he didn't. He didn't. He screwed up the draft pick, but whether or not Trey Lance can even play in this league remains to be seen. And it's in serious doubt with his new team as well. The Dallas Cowboys have declined to pick up the fifth-year option on Trey Lance. Now, coming at a price tag of $22.4 million, it's not unexpected, to say the least, because no one pays that for a third-string quarterback. And Trey Lance went from being maybe not the starter, maybe the second string, to definitely the third string the minute he got to Dallas. He was behind two more entrenched quarterbacks in Big D than he was in Santa Clara. He was behind Dak Prescott and Cooper Rush. That sounds a lot more entrenched and hard to beat out than an aging, back for one more go-around Jimmy Garoppolo, and at the point had not even met him, Brock Purdy. Like he was in the better situation. But people wanted to just crap on the Niners for the way they handled Trey Lance because they became more Trey Lance is my quarterback fans than they became Niner fans at the time. Like, this was a really divisive moment for the 49er fan base. A lot of the 49er fan base just misled by people who were claiming to cover the team but had absolutely no idea what they were even looking at, which is why I'm now here on YouTube to save everyone. You're welcome. So, the only way to describe Trey Lance's career at this point is uncertain. There is nothing but uncertainty that defines his career. We're uncertain if he can even play. We're uncertain if he can stay healthy. He hasn't been in there for many games, and in the few games that he's been in there, he's walked out of them injured in two of them. We're not even sure what his next team is going to be, so there's a level of uncertainty right there. And again, maybe he comes back to Dallas, but teams that normally decline fifth-year options don't come back for another bite at that apple. It's not surprising. Again, it's not surprising that Dallas declined this fifth-year option, but it's just a bad situation that he finds himself in here. You know, when the 49ers drafted Lance in the 2021 NFL draft, again, there was a lot of excitement. This was promised to be the quarterback of the future, giving Kyle Shanahan chapters to uncover in his playbook that we had never even seen before, a truly mobile dual threat with his legs quarterback. And then you found out, like, hey, wait a minute, Brock Purdy's actually faster than Trey Lance. Like, Trey Lance might be a decent runner, but he's not really fast, and he doesn't have a command of the pocket, and he's certainly not seeing the field as well as he needs to. And what is this? Is he not processing it? Does he not have enough experience? I mean, the questions were just everywhere around him all the time. And again, the promise of something new and exciting can only carry the conversation for so long, and then you got to go in there. And unfortunately, when he went in there, everything went wrong quickly. He, plays in a monsoon in Chicago before coming back to see his ankle snapped because Kyle Shanahan is running fullback belly dive with his, a year removed from being a rookie quarterback. Wonderkin supposed to be new future, wave of the future. Not exactly. After a massive investment to draft him, the 49ers decided it's time to move on. Obviously, Brock Purdy made that decision a lot easier to digest and swallow. I guess you got to swallow before you digest. And the Dallas Cowboys, honestly, were dumb enough to bite. And I hate to say it like that, but that's what it was. They were dumb enough to bite, and they did. So you've got a very misled group of fans. You've got a very misled Jerry Jones. You've got an eager to get out of the contract San Francisco 49ers, and getting rid of Trey Lance is the only element of Trey Lance's career that really the 49ers were able to get right. Dallas just instantly represented not a better future or a better situation. It was a worse future and worse situation. Because Dak Prescott, Cooper Rush, again, those guys were more entrenched than the guys he had to climb over to get the job. A job that he was given, by the way, by Kyle Shanahan when he was named the starter ahead of Jimmy Garoppolo. But man, what a just bad situation. And there is, nothing has changed about what we've heard of Trey Lance's attitude. Super good kid, really hard worker. He is not schluffing it off. He is not trying to get better every day. Trey Lance, hard worker, good guy, lunch pail kid, totally grounded in reality. There's nothing not to like about him other than when he drops back to throw a football. That's when the I don't like this has begun on Trey Lance. But he's hardly the only disappointing quarterback taken during the 2021 NFL draft. I mean, the disappointment isn't as easy to see on the number 1 overall pick. Trevor Lawrence was drafted into a bad situation with a worse coach, and things have gotten better since Urban Meyer was flushed. But look, no one is saying Trevor Lawrence is a bad quarterback, and I think anyone who's trying to say that he's a great quarterback is really, interested in exaggerating about who Trevor Lawrence is. Trevor Lawrence is good. Trevor Lawrence is a starter in this league. Trevor Lawrence, of all the quarterbacks taken in the first round, is not only the only one to still have a job as a starting quarterback, but be on the team that actually drafted him. Because our other thumbnail superstar this morning, our cover boy, was also Zach Wilson. Look, Zach Wilson just got traded to Denver after washing out with the New York Jets, and I don't think washing out with the New York Jets is anything for anybody to necessarily be embarrassed by, because washing out with the Jets is how most Jets careers go. It's just who they are. But Aaron Rodgers is brought in to instantly snuff out any future he might have. That's the way it looked. And then Rodgers, of course, gets injured so early. You go right back to Zach Wilson, and he didn't learn a thing as Aaron Rodgers' training camp understudy. He did not improve. It actually looked like at times he regressed and was incapable of even throwing a functioning forward pass. So Zach Wilson then gets traded to the Denver Broncos. New spot. New chance, new coach. Didn't last very long because the Broncos go ahead and they draft Bo Nix out of Oregon, and all of a sudden, they're the team not picking up Zach Wilson's 5th-year option. For Trey Lance, it's obviously all been bad. He was the 3rd pick of the draft, just star-crossed at every single moment of his development and career to this point, is the only thing that we can really attach to Trey Lance. After those first 3 guys went off the board, the first 3 picks of the 2021 draft, Lawrence, Wilson, and Lance, you had to wait a few picks before the Chicago Bears made a play for Justin Fields. He was the 4th quarterback taken in 2021, and the Bears have already moved on from him. varying degrees of success is, I think, the best way to describe what Justin Fields has been, what he was with the Chicago Bears. He is now in Pittsburgh, and in Pittsburgh, it's not like he's just being handed the keys to the kingdom. He has to take them from Russell Wilson, who the Steelers also decided to sign. What's interesting is that Justin Fields is actually, they're attaching his name to the possibility of returning kickoffs with the new hybrid kickoff. I saw that story coming out of Pittsburgh. So Justin Fields, kick returner, is the job he might have in Pittsburgh, which is a far, far way removed from I'm the starting quarterback of the Chicago Bears. Then you get to the fifth quarterback taken in the first round, Mac Jones. Fifth quarterback, he's already out in New England. He is in Jacksonville. It's very funny that he and Trevor Lawrence are now teammates. And look, there's not a lot of optimism out there for his career at this point in time. It obviously didn't work out in New England. He's not going to get a chance to play in Jacksonville should Trevor Lawrence continue on the path that he's on as their entrenched starter without injury. I don't see Mac wrestling it away with a couple of good practices. And now Mac Jones just saw the Jacksonville Jaguars not pick up his fifth-year option either. So, I think that there's still some hope for Justin Fields now in Pittsburgh. But Lance, Wilson, and Jones, they might still be young guys. Trey Lance is only 23. Zack Wilson is 24. Justin Fields is 25. Mac Jones is 25. But as I said earlier, the NFL stands for not for long. And you can be a young quarterback with upside for about 2 or 3 years. And if it hasn't taken, teams go, back to the orchard to pick the next maybe young up-and-coming quarterback on their rookie deal to go forward with. So all of these careers beyond Trevor Lawrence's, pretty much in question right now. So I know we just had 6 quarterbacks taken in the top 12 picks of the NFL draft we all just watched. And every single team is very excited about their first-round pick. All you got to do to go back to the 2021 NFL draft to see that of the 5 quarterbacks taken, only one of them has actually proven himself to be a starter. That could apply to the last draft we just saw as well. And that, folks, is why the draft is drama. And it's why we keep on coming back, because you never know. Cheers. Sip of the day, without a doubt, right there. That was delicious. Coffee, timed it perfectly. Nice. Let me tell you, before we move on to the other things that we got to get into here today, let me tell you about my good friend Ike, who is the best sandwich. I get his comments saying, Damon, I live in West Virginia. I live in North Carolina. I live in Florida. I don't have an Ike's around me. What makes this sandwich so good is a question that I got yesterday in the chat. What makes a sunrise beautiful? What makes a jacuzzi nice to slip into? I don't know. It's hard to describe what makes an Ike sandwich so good other than he cares. He cares. You can taste how much he cares about how much you're going to love this sandwich in each and every sandwich that he makes. Outstanding ingredients, great folks that he's got working and making these sandwiches in each one of his Ike shops. And it is officially time, if you are lucky enough to be on the West Coast around an Ike's location as it begins to expand ever eastward. But get yourself to Ike's when you can. If you live somewhere else, you visit California, and now what are you going to grab for lunch? You see an Ike's? Haven't I heard of that place? Yes, you have. Go to Ike's. Daddy, why is the sunset beautiful? I don't know, son. It just is. Daddy, why is Ike's sandwiches delicious? Why are they? I don't know, son. They just are. I think it's going to float your boat. Go ahead and get yourself an Ike sandwich. And then get yourself to the Dubliner on West Portal. Oh, my God. I love the good folks at the Dubliner. Thanks to them for supporting this channel. They basically were sitting around thinking we want to do a little advertising, but we want to do it in a cool new way. And a fan of this channel, one of the bartenders, Kenny, was just like, look at these cool people hanging out all day with Damon in his show. Wouldn't it be great to get Damon over here and then have folks on his channel decide that they want to come to the Dubliner West Portal as well? And we all did just last Friday. Went out and did a little drafting from the upstairs pool room at the West Portal Dubliner, and I am probably popping in this week. Look at it this way. When's the next time I got to go to West Portal? The UPS store is where I got my P.O. box on West Portal. I don't go to that P.O. box without grabbing a Guinness. Get yourself to the Dubliner, the Dubliner in West Portal, and you'll be very, very happy that you did. Good people, good times. Find out for yourself. Just like the sandwiches. How do you describe a great bar? I don't know how to describe it. It's just a great bar. So where are we? What do we got going on this slow news day? We've got a story. Well, it really wasn't a story as much as it was a tweet that was, popped out on Twitter, X. No one calls it X. Still Twitter. And basically the entire premise of this whole thing was all these NBA teams that went bonkers with spending have either gone home or are soon to go home from the NBA playoffs, and throwing cash around the league, the association, doesn't quite put a winner on the court like you think it would. So far, the NBA's postseason has been a prime example of money not buying success. Of the top 4 luxury tax-paying teams, the Warriors, the Clippers, the Suns, and the Bucks, 2 have already been knocked out, and 2 are fighting for their playoff lives. The Clippers are just 1 loss away from Cancun, and it feels like the Bucks are going to be sent home tonight without Giannis or Dame having been able to participate in the postseason yet. So, an awful lot of money has been spent by 3 of those franchises, and they got nothing to show for it. I almost think it's unfair to include the Warriors in this list, because the only reason why the Warriors are spending that kind of money is because they've won so much. They've drafted so well. They have taken players that anyone in the NBA could have had and had staggering success with them. And the league, any league that is a capped league, that salary cap exists to tear your team apart and your success down. Teams that draft well are essentially punished. And that's what the Warriors are. The Warriors are being punished for drafting so well and winning so much. They didn't go out and try to buy a championship like the Suns did. Hey, let's go ahead and throw all these assets at Brooklyn to bring in Kevin Durant. And now let's go ahead, Bradley Beal, this bad boy, Devin Booker, you're still here. And look at all that. It doesn't work. It doesn't fit at all. Again, there's a little bit of you did it the right way, certainly attached to Milwaukee. All they did was make the trade that they could to add the best player that they could in Dame Lillard. But they got to pick up a huge salary on him. But I don't think the Bucks have done anything wrong. Again, nobody's really done anything wrong. The Clippers just throw tons of ideas and money at the wall. Nothing ever sticks. I don't think you can hold it against the Warriors for the financial situation they're in, because the financial situation they're in at least comes after the train of success that just tunneled through the Bay Area. It's amazing what we were able to watch and how entertaining it all was, and the satisfaction of finals appearances and 4 championships. These other teams are the jokers who spent all the money and got nothing really to show for it. By the way, NBA action this Thursday begins not too long from now, about 3-4 hours from now. We got Bucks at the Pacers. Pacers looking to close out that series. And then it's the Knicks at Philadelphia. New York trying to close out that series. our good friend Kate Scott trying to stay behind a microphone. And that's the other thing that we're going to get to right here, right now. I saw that longtime Boston Celtics announcer Mike Gorman is, and I'm going to tell you right now, retiring broadcasters tell no lies. Like when you are entrenched enough to pretty much say what you want, even if you weren't retiring, you can totally come clean the minute you say, I'm retiring. I got to, how many games do you have left? How many games are left in this series? That's Mike Gorman's answer. Mike Gorman, he's retiring after a long, very good career. And as he looks back, he was talking to Awful Announcing and dropped some major resentment on the NBA, just saying this is a league that so sold its soul to chase money on cable that it's left local fan bases without their home announcers as the playoffs continue. Like I said, if the Sixers lose tonight, that's the end of Kate Scott's season as their television play-by-play voice. If the Sixers win this series, that's still the end of Kate Scott's season because the networks have exclusive broadcasting rights beyond the first round. Warriors fans saw this. And again, Warriors fans love to bag on the local broadcast. Bob Fitzgerald is the best broadcaster in the NBA who is unfairly pulled apart by his hometown fans all the time. Now, can Bob oversell moments and be a little bit too much of a house organ? Yes. He can get cringeworthy at times with how chipper and Warrior optimistic he remains at all times. But he's a really good play-by-play guy. The nuts and bolts of a TV play-by-play broadcast, Bob Fitzgerald's really good. If you don't believe me, you got to take Uncle Damon's word for it, okay? Well, you're not going to see them. Well, obviously the Warriors are out, so you're not going to see them. But you didn't see them beyond the first round in any of these playoff runs. Bob Fitzgerald has never called an NBA Finals game on TV for the Golden State Warriors and never will because that only gets to go to Mike Breen. I think it does disconnect fans and towns. And with just the world of multicast that we live in, can't we solve this? Can't we allow hometown broadcasters to see a season through its completion? ESPN offers, mega casts and alternate casts and hometown casts for bowl games. Why not for NBA Finals games as well? NBA playoff games as well? Mike Gorman saw this on Awful Announcing in an interview with Chris Mannix, said that he has anger when the league sold his soul to other cable networks, robbing fans of their local connection in the playoffs. Quote, I've never really gotten over that. I've never forgiven the NBA for that. And I understand owners don't need the money, I guess, but to do 82 games and then maybe do 3 or 4 in that first round and then it's just see you later? Gorman says, go ahead. Let the network pick up the game. That's fine. But I don't think local broadcasters should at least be allowed to work. It's a very sophisticated world we live in. They could provide a feed of me, for instance, that went out there, and if you didn't like it, you could take Mike Breen or whoever's working that particular week. And he's right. We see simulcasts all the time now. There's a lot of talk of NBA broadcasting rights, new network deals, leaving TNT possibly to either go to Amazon or whatever the NBA is concocting next for its next TV broadcast deal. I saw another story saying, well, what is the league just totally forgotten about the importance of, TNT's Inside the NBA pre- and post-game show? Charles Barkley, always savvy, has it in his contract that should TNT lose rights to the NBA, that he can tear up his contract and sign with another network. I don't know if it's like that for Kenny or Shaq or anyone else, but Charles Barkley, seriously, say whatever you want about Chuck. He is playing chess when other people get caught playing checkers. He's always a couple moves ahead. So he's the smart one in the room. The other thing to just say about the NBA before we move on is this. I saw Ben Axelrod, who was writing for Awful Announcing, document something that I just think ESPN should be embarrassed by. Yeah, the original mission of ESPN was to be the daily time capsule of that day in sports. And I understand that panel shows and morning shows aren't necessarily SportsCenter, where you're trying to get everything in. But to literally ignore two playoff series as they are going on your national ESPN show feels like a bit of an odd choice. I mean, after all, you are the partner of this league, and you are ignoring franchises of your partner. Ben Axelrod wrote, if you tuned into ESPN's morning block of Get Up and First Take on Wednesday morning without any prior knowledge of the NBA's postseason schedule, you likely would have assumed that Game 5 between the Knicks and Sixers was the only playoff game played the prior night. Over the course of the 4-hour block of television, neither show discussed the Cavaliers or Magic, Bucks or Pacers games. They only mentioned either indirectly as they related to the outcome of Knicks and Sixers. Now, look, we understand Knicks and Sixers, if we got a 20-minute block to talk basketball, staged such a dramatic game and are two such large markets that they are going to get the lion's share of attention. But to then just pretend that the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Orlando Magic, the Milwaukee Bucks, and the Indiana Pacers didn't even play last night, or they did, but we're not going to bother even reporting on the outcome or the series or how it sets up. Like, what are you doing? Like, ESPN, you have so thoroughly lost the mark. It's almost like why I think Twitter means less, a lot less than it used to. And I'm not saying that it's become just an echo chamber of whatever informations of silos you want to live in. To me, the biggest problem with Twitter is that it's not a real-time live feed. There's an algorithm trying to give me the things it thinks I want to see, when really I've already signed up for Twitter and followed the people that I want to, because what I want to see is their work, not some of it, but all of it as it comes out in real time. ESPN's network best ratings algorithm is clearly what they are trying to serve, not the sports fan. You know, their algorithm said, talk all 76ers and Knicks before you talk any Pacers and Bucks. How can the league be happy with that? How can the league look at a league partner and say, nice job covering the sport, well done? I remember when I was at 95.7 The Game and the A's were leaving the station. Knowing that they were leaving the station, I would still talk about them. That's a Major League Baseball team that to this day we are technically the flagship of. And I would, have the program director, like the only time Matt Nahagian and I ever clashed was when I was trying to still function as an A's flagship station by just mentioning they're playing. I'm not doing long A's segment after interview, after players segment interview, nothing. Like, I'm just casual conversation. The other team in town. And he was like, stop. We're about to be out of business. And I was like, well, we're not quite out of business yet. And we have a fan base to serve, robust or not. They're out there. And that's the only time I ever, got into like butting heads with a very good program director. And it turned out, I got to say, he was right. Because the minute we did not pay attention to the A's, the minute that the baseball coverage became Giant-centric, 95.7 The Game summer ratings went up. It's just the way it went. And again, we're not in, radio was in the audience business. And TV, I guess, would hide behind that same rock, saying that we are in the audience business and we are going to talk about the topics that the audience most responds to. But we were just a local radio station. We're not some national network trying to frame the entire day's sports happenings. So it totally lost the mark. Totally lost the mark. ESPN has. I got one more NBA story, and it's a bad one. But we're going. We're doing it. I think we've officially found the worst family in NBA history. We really have. The Porters of Indianapolis are not cranking out great kids. There's no other way to say it. Now, Michael Porter Jr. has done no wrong. Michael Porter Jr. is a good player on a very good Denver Nuggets team. He's getting 16 and 7 a night. He is doing nothing wrong. Michael Porter Jr., I absolve you of the rest of your family's sins. But the rest of your family, oh man, you got some real serious pieces of shit that are your siblings. Let's take a look. So there's a story out there right now that the brother of Nuggets star Michael Porter, Javon Porter, was just arrested for a DWI. Now, as we've said many times, you have no right to one DWI in the age of Uber. Screw you if you get one. You know you're not supposed to drink and drive. Not driving home drunk has been easier at this point in time in human existence than ever before. Not driving home drunk only takes tapping a button on your phone. So there's that. He gets a DWI. You'd think that you'd also take a look around your own family and see, are there any lessons to be gleaned from driving while intoxicated in my own family tree? Well, again, Michael Porter Jr., the Denver Nugget, has done nothing wrong. Javon Porter just got arrested with a DWI. This comes weeks after his other brother, Corbin, was sentenced to prison for killing a woman when he was drunk behind the wheel. So your brother is literally going to prison for killing a woman as a drunk driver, and you are going to get behind the wheel of a car drunk? You fucking asshole. Okay? I don't have any other way to say it. You pieces of shit human beings. But we're not done. Let's not forget. One brother just got a DUI. The other brother killed a woman and isn't going to prison. A third brother, Jonte Porter, just got banned from the NBA for life for gambling. So, one's in prison, one should probably be going to jail. The other has just been banned for life by the NBA. Again, the Porters of Indianapolis, kind of a shit family. And I'm going to tell you, there's two more that we need to keep an eye on. There are two more Porter kids, Bree Porter and Isaac Porter. Let's keep an eye on those two. Because outside of the brother who's in the NBA, the rest of you seem to be absolute shitbirds. I mean, come on, man. Your parents must be humiliated by you. I got no sympathy for DWIs. None. So, I told you we had a little bit of a slow news day, but I sure do hope you enjoyed the show. I know I did. We got a little day baseball, right? We got afternoon baseball. It's already underway at Fenway, I believe. Hold on, let me turn on the TV right here. I try to keep it off during the show because you get a little reflection behind me in the case. But let's see if we got actual baseball happening at Fenway. I do believe we got baseball at Fenway right now. Hold on, what are we here? Yep, Giants and Red Sox. There it is. Kyle Harrison is pitching today. The Giants will be on to Philadelphia on Friday on this 10-game road trip. We got a 1-1 game, bottom of the fourth right now at Fenway. The A's are going to be hosting the Marlins on Friday. And there it is. let's hop into Club Plus for a little bit here on YouTube. But everyone who's listening to the podcast, awesome. Thank you so much for downloading the podcast. What I'd love for you to do, if you only listen to the podcast, check me out on YouTube. Go ahead, hit like and subscribe. It would mean an awful lot as we build this bad boy into something much bigger by the time next NFL season rolls around, and it'll be NFL before you know it. We're not that far away, believe it or not. It feels far away, but we're really not that far away. So there it is. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will leave you all with the reminder that sports don't build character, they reveal it. And like that, he's gone. Oh, see, I got a little light off the TV. You can see the little reflection up here in the Indiana banner. I hope that's not too distracting, but I will keep this bad boy on. What's going on in the chat today? How about this? We're going to work backwards. I'm going to go all the way down to the bottom of the chat and work up instead of starting at the top of the chat and then working into real time. And as always, the first name I see, it's Red Jet. Let's go Giants, baby. Yeah, they're trying not to get swept at Fenway today. You don't want to begin a 7-game road trip getting swept. Oh, you know what, Red Jet, thankfully, I noticed this too because she said squeaky disco ball time, and I forgot to plug the disco ball in. There we go. There we go. It's like being at Sphere. What is that, the fish show at Sphere? No, it's Club Plus. True Blue Forever says, I'd like to start with the bottom two. Hey now. Let's see, what do we got here from Chef A? Ooh, Giants, damn it. My luck year since I've been paying attention to baseball. Recently a Giants fan, and they kind of suck, but I love listening to Dave and John and Kruk and Kipe, and I do too. I'm just going to tell you right now, enjoy Kruk and Kipe all you can, because I don't know how much longer we've got with them. So enjoy every single inning that you get. Sam Bruno Mike is viewer counting, likes counting. He's not liking what he sees, so like and subscribe, good people. Thank you very much for keeping everyone in check, Sam Bruno Mike. Rockin' New Air 84. A's are red hot. Like, anytime they have, a 3-game winning streak, they're officially red hot, are they not? Champ Ross Fantasy Boxing Predictions League says the Porters keep those high life 40s in the freezer just ready to purge. I guess so. I mean, come on. How's Joji doing? Is Joji inviting folks to Japan? Joji, konnichiwa. I see you're talking to JJ Raider, our ganja jar benefactor. Says that, Joji, that's on the bucket list, a long vacation in Japan, just me eating new places every single day. And I got to tell you, JJ, it's on my list too. These episodes of Shogun are even cranking up my, what is it? What do you call it when you're interested in another culture? Is it a Japanophile? Is that it? When you're interested in another, I really want to go to Japan one day. I want to go to Japan, and I want to go to Spain, and I want to go to Italy. And I understand that Spain and Italy are two totally different flavors of ice cream from Japan. And I think I want to go to Japan first. I love Japanese culture. I love how polite everyone is. I love how clean everything is supposed to be there. I am down for just noodles, anything. Just anything, noodles, Asian fusion noodles. I am in. 100% in. I could eat noodles twice a week, every week, for the rest of my life. Easily. SF Indigo. Up next on the Steve Wilkos show, the Porter family drunks. Yeah, really. I mean, that is just... It's a lot of kids, and they seem like jackasses. Mark Graves, very good point. Hey, Maybe they're just trying to raise bail money. Jonte with his under bets. Yeah, that's just that's a mess. What else we got going on here? What is going on? Oh, everyone's reacting to the Jonte Porter. Like, damn. Let's see here. Keith Knowles says, I think Lance is a good kid, but a poser, though, superficially. He got the 49ers trying to look like Mahomes with the hair and the headband. He gets to Dallas. He shaves his head like Dak. This young man is being betrayed by his hairline. Unfortunately, with the first overall pick of genetic gifts, Trey Lance did not select hairline. He's got a terrible hairline. Like, whatever that kid is doing with his hair, he has the right to do it. He has the right to do it. I don't think he's trying to glom onto anybody's look. He's just trying to look the best he can. And his hairline was just a mess. So I'm not holding that against him. I don't think he's a poser. I just think he's not a particularly good quarterback, which is tough when you're a quarterback. Don Plus says SportsCenter is now like MTV. No music videos, no news highlights anymore. Yeah, it feels like everything that happens on ESPN is a bought and sold sponsored segment that serves the sponsor of the segment more than it serves the viewer of the segment. Leslie says, I remember the big announcement on 95.7 for Greg Papa being the flagship for the Raiders. My, how things ended badly there. Yeah. Yep, it did. R.I.P. Cougar Rebel saying, thank you, Damon. I remember you would show love to A's fans. I mean, here's the thing. I wouldn't even call it like showing love to A's fans as much as I'm actually talking about the baseball team, what they did the last time they played baseball. I mean, I wasn't opening up for big caller segments or anything like that, but I would bring up, what happened. And even that became like an instant tune out. What else we got going on? I'm sorry, but the woman who replaced Glenn Kuiper is not good. Honestly, I haven't even really noticed, good or bad. I haven't noticed. I've watched so little A's baseball, just angry at the franchise. Like, I don't have a reason to get to know anybody or get in there anymore. But I don't think she's done a bad job. She didn't stand out as offensive, not good to me, but I'll take your word for it, R.I.P. Cougar Rebel. Says here, Damon, you can switch your Twitter feed to come up in real time. Richard, thank you. I know that, but it still doesn't populate quite in real time the way that it used to. You do not get everything you want from everyone you follow the millisecond that they tweet it anymore. It doesn't happen. There's the For You and Following tabs. The For You tab is a serious deep dive into the algorithm. The Following tab is supposed to be most representative of real-time information coming at you, but it still isn't totally real-time. Look at Joji just talking up Japan, saying even convenience store sushi is great in Japan. I got to be honest with you. I want to take your word for it. I'm still not doing the convenience store sushi. I'm drawing my line at that. Man's got to have his standards. Again, if I'm going over to Japan, it's not for the convenience store sushi, but I do hear that there is like a famous egg salad sandwich that you get at convenience stores, which basically like the entire country runs on. I heard there's really good, fluffy, delicate egg salad sandwiches at convenience stores in Japan that are just supposed to be phenomenal. I think I remember Anthony Bourdain going out and getting one. By the way, I really miss Bourdain. I miss that show. I would love his commentary on the world now more than ever. Okay, I reached the top of the chat. Let's go back all the way to the bottom. Again, I worked... Don Plus saying, let's go. Dude, maybe we will have to, you know what? Maybe Plus Mania 3 is going to have to happen in Osaka. Right? Joji, can you put together a bar for us if we all come out to Japan? Joji, I'll give you a weeks-long executive producer title, and you can be my interpreter. We're going to need an interpreter when we get to Japan. Generation Retro says, as a Bay Area native living in Vegas and a Dodger-hating Giants fan, I don't like the A's moving here. It's weird. I certainly don't like the American League not being in the Bay Area. That sucks. It sucks for fans. It sucks for generations. It sucks. Damon, what do you think? The Damon Bruce merch in Japan? I mean, we're rolling in Godzilla up, right? That right there has got to go along pretty well with the hoi polloi. Got more stickers. You leave stickers all over the Japanese subway and then quickly realize like we're the only people vandalizing any inch of public Japan, so we should probably stop doing that. I know. See, I know what to do. Leslie says the Bourdain show on Japan was something else. He went to the dark side. Yeah, what did he see like a Japanese punk band? He hung out with a woman who liked to be tied up in knots or something. Like, there's a lot of weird, kinky Japanese stuff that goes on over there. We'll go a little Japanese kink if we get over there. Absolutely. Rockin' New Era 84. Let's get Damon Bruce Plus katana swords. What if I had like samurai swords behind me? Would you think more or less of me? I think samurai swords are really cool, but you can't necessarily be displaying them in your house and look cool unless you're an actual samurai, which I'm not. Sporticus. Hey, is Ohtani's former interpreter related to the Porters? If I were the Porters, I'd be trying to claim them at this point. Seems like any messes might have come through their kitchen. Damon, you can hire Shohei's interpreter. He'll be a lot cheaper than me. Oh, Joji. I mean, I don't know. That guy's got millions of dollars of gambling debt to pay off. Joji, are you a gambler? If you say so, Joji. If you're telling me you're out of my price range, I'm going to believe you. Damon, that's the adult shibori? Is that what tying up women in knots in Japan, is that what that's called? I think Leslie's onto something here right now. Samurai swords are only cool in Pulp Fiction. They certainly did the trick in Pulp Fiction. There's no doubt about that. Damon Bruce, ninja. Might have been, could have been. By the way, whenever someone says a word I'm not familiar with and then an immediate thing is says, don't Google it. Don't Google it. Not at work anyways. Fair enough. Fair enough. This is an overshare. This is an overshare. Not that any of you need to know this. I've never been into that whole, like, let's tie the woman up thing. No. I want you to use your hands and all your appendages. I want some freedom of movement down there. And again, somebody told me there are shibori classes in some colleges. Yeah, dude, they will deeply lean into the kink over in Japan. What's really weird is that as much as Japan leans hard into the kink, it's like all blurred porn. Like they blur all the bits and pieces in porn, yet at the same time, these are the tentacle porn people, which is really weird. Hey, whatever floats your boat, right? Whatever you are into, great. I don't get that one. Like, I don't even understand how tentacle porn is something that turns you on. I don't get it. And here you go. This is the advice that everyone needs as they go back to their workday from our good friend Erwin. Yeah, peoples, don't Google Japanese porn at work. I mean, that's almost like we should do away with the sports don't build character. They reveal it and just end every show with that public service announcement. Don't Google Japanese porn at work. Thank you so much for watching. And please do remember that you don't have to go home. You just can't stay here.